Today, it's the Heather's Secret Podcast After Show. Welcome to ChillPoint.
That'll show you.
Yeah.
I can't tell Paul's secrets anymore.
Apologies for those who didn't watch this live, because that part was the secret podcast part was probably cut out of the live show.
Oh, I'm definitely cutting it out. Yeah. Sorry.
Hey
YouTube
everybody.
Watchers particularly.
Welcome to ChillPoint, the show where we talk about video game news, specifically about the video game news on CheckPoint, our video game show that's on video game news show that's on YouTube, youtube.com/loadingreadyrun. Check out the latest episode. And we talk about the stories we did talk about on that show, but also stuff we didn't talk about, new things.
You know, usually fans are the ones who make shows about rewatch podcasts, but not us.
No.
We're just like, no, we can do our own.
Yeah.
Also, we don't rewatch it. We just try to remember.
Speak for yourself. I see it at least 3 times in editing.
I like your side.
It's weird, right?
Now, yeah.
Today is like.
Oh wow.
I've got like a really wild thing going on today.
Well, I'm not looking back there all episode.
Yeah.
Sorry, honey.
It's like you have a giant comb over, but you also have the hair there too.
I'd much rather you release the mane than that.
Yeah, we might do that. We'll see.
When you're done doubling your tea.
Yeah, and done double fisted
Yeah.
this. This is a good sign about what we're about to talk about today.
Yes. Act with integrity. Okay. Welcome to the show. Let's talk about the stories we talked about, and stories that were on CheckPoint. Might as well get the first one here out of the way. Now in the story, so this is obviously about the first story was about the ABK Workers Alliance, the Activision Blizzard King Workers Alliance, which I feel like King is just trying to keep a really low profile these
just
days.
like every other company that isn't in the spotlight.
I mean, the actual name of the company is just Activision Blizzard, correct?
Yes.
So the fact that the workers are saying we're just gonna put King on display, and I'm sure King's like, we'd rather you didn't.
King, technically speaking, King is.
They make mobile games, don't they?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
like they're the ones who make Candy Crush.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
And King is like a, I don't know what you call it. Like they're not just another subsidiary of Activision Blizzard. They are theoretically at the same level as Activision and Blizzard. They just don't have their name is not part of the collective for whatever reason.
Yeah. And I'm sure that rankled a lot until recently. So
I have a question about the lower third. Is Apiqua supposed to be some sort of Star Wars joke or something?
it does really seem like it seems like it should be a Star Wars name, right? But yeah, Activision Blizzard King Workers Alliance.
Oh,
Strikes back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay. I didn't realize that was what the WA was about. I really thought it was some sort of like Jedi Strikes Back joke or something.
I was gonna try to push for we should call it Obquafina. But I don't think
Okay.
Aquafina would appreciate.
I tried to find a joke that wasn't there. Got it.
Yeah.
So
Just like you.
anyway, the ABK Workers Alliance, which is it is not technically a union. It is a group of workers who are doing a thing because legally there's a distinction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Legally, unions are a specific thing, but they are attempting to form a union.
Okay. Good. Good.
And so this story was mainly around the idea that they announced stuff on Thursday morning, which means that we couldn't really do an effective story about it.
At like 7:30, so it was like you wake up and it's like how do you program anything into this? But they are talking about a new worker action.
Yeah.
Another strike, as it were, even though but strike,
And so have they actually? So there is actually more information out about it, What's the deal?
My understanding is that they are announcing they've announced a new strike action. I don't know when that's happening.
Okay.
I can look it up. I actually even have the article open on my phone. And that the Communication Workers Alliance, yes, the CWA union, an actual straight up union, is involved somehow in their conversations because the Blizzard Chief Administrative Officer, I want to say Brian Boitano, but that's not his name.
Right.
That would be a big coincidence if it was his name.
right?
It's something.
Hang
That's
on.
how I read it too, and I
Brian
read the tweet this
Bulatao.
morning.
Brian Bulatao. Okay.
Well, who's the other one? Why do I know that name?
I
Brian
don't.
Bertano.
Brian Boitano's a figure skater.
Yeah.
He's a U.S. figure skater.
Why do I shouldn't know that?
He's
name.
also famously in a South Park song.
Yeah.
What would Brian
Well,
Boitano do?
That shouldn't help me at all. I wasn't allowed to watch.
Yeah,
South
but
Park.
the zeitgeist. You might have just picked it up from whatever. So yeah. Okay. So the ABK announced on Twitter the initiation of its strike.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, here we go, and they're asking for people to consider donating to their strike fund, which is again what unions are for, right? Is that they part of what you pay in your union dues is also to establish a strike fund in case you ever have to enact worker action, generally. So you can at least make a portion, I think, of what it is you make. But anyway, so today, and this is reported from IGN, but it also came up on Twitter. Jessica Gonzalez, who is an outgoing Blizzard employee, received a what they term as a union busting email from Brian Bulatao, and this is their last day in the this is Jessica's last day in the company, but there's some of the pieces in here that are interesting. Are third paragraph in bold. Let me be clear about this. The leadership of Activision Blizzard supports your right under the National Labor Relations Act to make your own decision about whether or not to join a union. And then the next three paragraphs are, but you know, if you did that, you personally would lose all of your bargaining power with everybody else in the company. You know, the people who make millions of dollars and are forcing you to work all these terrible hours.
All that bargaining power you have.
To be clear, we support your, legally
have to support your right to a union.
Legally, we have to support this.
And that the Communication Workers Alliance is involved here, and that's, I believe, why this email got sent out. And it's not surprising. And the thing is, it's like, it sucks that there's this whole stance of, don't do this. It's a very anti-union thing. It's also not surprising that management would take the position of, we don't want to be in this position.
Right.
So I'm like,
Sure.
I completely understand where they're coming from. Even if it is a shitty position, I completely understand why they have a shitty position.
I mean, my favorite thing about this though is, they said that sources are saying that the people who were on the fence about signing on for that union now want to sign on for the union, and I'm like, good. You blew up in your face. Great, awesome.
Showing that Blizzard doesn't want it to happen. It's as I was saying just before we went online, we were talking about it, and to be honest, like in comparison to the other stuff that Activision Blizzard has gotten in trouble for, like putting out discouraging email or union discouraging stuff is sort of just like standard practice for a big company. It's actually fairly low on the totem pole in terms of the bad stuff that they're doing. So I don't know if that's something to be positive about, but there it is.
It's funny too because the lead that was written on IGN is that employees of the company received a message from Activision Chief Administrative Officer Brian Bulatao, encouraging employees to think about signing union authorization cards with the Communication Workers of America. Now, what does that sound like to you, right? It sounds like the email is, Brian wants you to think about doing this. He wants you to consider it. It's like, no, he wants you to think carefully about it.
Yeah. He sent an email, and as a result of the email, people were encouraged to sign up for the thing.
Yeah, that's not the intention of the email, though.
But I do think it's funny that, in a way, it actually has encouraged a lot of people to think about signing the CWA cards. So there's no word from the ABKWA yet about whether or not they're doing that or not.
I mean, over the week, we might hear more.
Depending on, how the strike action goes.
Yeah.
So,
So maybe that's the next checkpoint or ChillPoint day.
All right. The next story, Final Fantasy 14, this is actually technically sort of two stories put together.
Yeah.
The first being that Final Fantasy 14, which has been around for quite a long time now,
had a successful remodel and relaunch.
Yeah. I mean, I'm constantly amazed
They pulled that off.
That they pulled that off. We've done enough reporting on CheckPoint about MMOs that stumble right out of the gate and in 3 or 4 months are completely kaputski.
Yeah.
And,
sometimes less.
Yeah, and that Square was able to revitalize and completely tear down and rebuild. In fact, A Realm Reborn, rebirth it, so to speak. And that not only has it continued, but it actually they have in the past month, I think since October, they've gotten 1 million more people subscribing, which is pretty, like, considering that it is, if you compare it to like WoW or something, like other MMOs that have been around for a long time, like WoW has been kind of on the decline.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're still
Kicking
along, that they're still putting up.
Yeah.
And possibly the reason why they're so successful is because they're staying relevant with the kids.
Yes.
By which I mean you can get an emote that allows you to like your person's eating pizza.
Huh. You mean it's not because it's a free trial that you can do up to level 60, and which has become a meme, so people keep repeating it, and it's pretty well half true.
Expansion. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, how brilliant is that to get a meme of an ad for your game?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how they got that working, but
I have
it's
heard
great.
that so many times that every now and then I'm like,
I have never
maybe.
actually heard,
I mean, I could.
I've never actually heard it legitimately. Like,
Yeah,
I've never
I've seen
heard
that
it
for it.
seriously. I've only seen it, done as like a meme in a meme thing.
But if you ever leave out like this little inkling anywhere where you're like, well, maybe I can tell you 10 people's ears prick up all of a sudden, like little mercats coming out of the ground to be ready to tell you about it.
There's a, I think there's a case to be made that what happened is that whenever that was being advertised, at the same time they're like, but how do we actually get the kids? It's like, well, we oversaturate and we make it into it and then we memify it. Because there's actually a lot of instances of companies making successful AstroTurfed memes where you don't expect it, right?
Yeah.
Where you're kind of like, it's like, oh, well, I can understand, like, oh, this company's trying to do a thing on Twitter or whatever, and it's like, sure, but instead they just start planting a whole bunch of the meme in other places, and then people start spreading it around because they're like, oh, lol, I can remix that because I want some social media cred too, and they don't realize that they are doing the work of the ad agency that is working for the thing, because we're just all having a good fun time
We're
anyway.
just having fun.
But also, I think like younger people nowadays are also a little more smart about that. Like, they realize that, oh, I know this is an ad, and I know that I'm remixing an ad to make fun of it, but I also realize that I am, through culture jamming, I'm not actually doing any jamming at all. Like, it's because it's all just a big fucking post-capitalist nightmare. So let's all swirl the drain.
You're definitely putting way more thought into this than I do, where I'm just like, ha, meme.
Anyway, what I liked about this, so there's this emote where you can eat pizza, but you get the emote by ordering food through Grubhub, and then you get a code which you do use the emote. Apparently, there was a thing during the Video Game Awards yesterday where you could like order food during the Video Game Awards.
Yeah.
And it was like you got free shipping or whatever, free delivery.
Yeah.
I guess that's what you call it.
No, free shipping.
That's what you call shipping when it's like a person giving it to you.
I
what
wanna
they
call it
say
that now.
about gamers. They love their 2-day free shipping.
Yeah,
It's true.
I love to get my food 2 days after.
Yeah,
order,
yeah.
right? So
I feel like I need better than
It's
2 day
pizza.
shipping.
It's pizza.
yeah.
I'm assuming they are sending you the best pizza ever, which is probably from New York or Chicago or something. I don't know.
The Grubhub thing, what I thought was funny about it was that the thing, as I read more about it, I'm like, wait, you just don't get the emote? And they're like, no, you have to participate and then wait until the thing is over, and then wait 2 more days, and we swear to God you will get your emote at the time that it comes out. And I'm just like, that's That's weird to me because when something's digital like that, you would expect that I participate in the thing, and then like within 24 hours that code shows up in my email, or like the moment I do it, it's like, here's your code, you did it now, and it's like, no, they're waiting until the end so they can send them all out en masse.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff actually does do that.
I guess so that everyone gets excited and starts eating pizza on the.
Yeah, right. And when I saw this, it was like an article on Polygon or something, and there was a big header image of like the Final Fantasy 14 characters like eating what looked to me like badly photoshopped pizza, like just like they like that the people doing the story just like put like pizza in their hands to illustrate the story. But then I went through to like the Final Fantasy 14 like ad page for this, and that's the image there. So I'm like, oh, is that actually what it looks like?
Yeah, this crazy textured thing, and the way they eat it, like and I'm like, I've never seen anyone in my life like do this stuff.
I mean, I have in movies, but I don't expect my video games to act like movies.
I guess no, I have only seen it in extreme radical commercials from the late '90s and early 2000s. So yeah.
And then there's also this idea that because this is sort of a homage to Slash Pizza.
Yeah.
Which, if you don't know, was a thing way back in the day for EverQuest, the original MMO, debatably. But the original big popular MMO had a chat command /pizza that would get you a large pepperoni pizza from Pizza Hut or something.
Yeah.
And
so just a default order.
And because
yes,
EverQuest like had your billing information and everything, and like your address and everything, like it was literally /pizza, and a pizza would show up at your house a little while later.
Yeah.
Which is kind of magical, I gotta say.
Yeah, I kind of into that.
But yeah. Anyway.
All right.
Let's.
I got to mention the Noid, which was fun. So.
Let's talk about the Gallarhorn, Nerf Gallarhorn.
The Yallarhorn?
The Yaller.
The Gajallarhorn.
Which I love that Google Docs is actually complaining that Graham spelt Gallarhorn incorrectly. It's supposed to be with an AR, not an ER.
Yeah, well.
One thing I love about like using Google Docs for doing stuff is that their spell check is based on their like they build their spell check with their search system.
Yeah.
Which means that words that aren't actual real words, it can still spell check. Like it can spell check proper nouns.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is kind of
neat. Seen them so many times, yeah.
Anyway, Gallarhorn, and it's which is it's a rocket launcher that was in the original Destiny that was sort of a meme in the original Destiny because it was super overpowered.
Yeah.
And it was basically like everybody had to have it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Big gun go boom.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it fires like a missile that then splits into multi-missiles in it.
Oh, that does sound pretty cool.
Yeah.
So people have been asking it's been a thing that it's like, when are they gonna, like, clearly they've been moving various Destiny weapons over to Destiny 2 over the years.
Right. So
it's like clearly they're going to bring this weapon that's like the big meme. When is it going to happen? Turns out now. And there's also going to be they've made a Nerf version. Which,
right. I forgot about the Nerf gun.
1-to-1 size. It's 4 feet long.
Yep.
The Nerf version. It also, and I'm very disappointed that the store page doesn't have a picture of this, but apparently it's got a unique Nerf munition that splits into 4.
Oh yeah, okay.
Which seems amazing, but they don't have any pictures of it on the store page for it. Just has like a couple different views of the thing itself. So yeah, also, and then the other part of this story is that, so this is all part of the Bungie 30th anniversary of Bungie as a company.
Right. I was going to say Destiny's not 30, right?
No, don't worry.
Okay, good.
So it's the 30th anniversary of Bungie as a company. And so they're releasing. I mean, Destiny, but because Destiny is really the only game that they're like producing now, everything is like this. So
It's all
there's
Destiny
all
based.
Destiny stuff. So
Okay.
there's some new skins that are like a tribute to Marathon. There's like some skin. I don't know if people have played Marathon. There's a skin that's like the robes of the what were they called? The guys who like open their robes
Yeah.
and shoot.
Yeah. Oh man, I haven't thought about Marathon in years.
It was it looked super cool. So some of those look super neat. They also have there's also a bunch of weapons that are clearly based on either Halo weapons or in reference to Halo weapons. There's like a gun.
Okay.
There's like two guns that each have half of like an energy sword on them from Halo, but they're not actually like an energy sword. Compilers. That's the name of those guys.
Okay.
Compilers are the guys with the robes. Anyway, so what's great about the marketing page for it though is it's like in tribute to Marathon, one of our first person shooter or the first person shooter. We've got these awesome skins, and then to put to reference other parts of our history, we have these weapons. They can't say the word
Right.
Halo
Right.
because they don't own that franchise anymore.
And Halo is a big thing right now. Yeah.
And so they're like, there's also these weapons that reference other things in our history.
Go look them up. You
Yeah.
can find them yourself.
Is anything from Oni?
I don't think so.
No, forgot all
Which
about
is
that.
a shame.
Yeah.
Like sometimes.
Oni has a place dear in my heart. I wish Oni is the game that I wish that they could be like remade
Yeah.
or like a sequel most, because it's like I mean I played it on stream a long time ago on like things on my stream, because it's like it's a game that I love, but I acknowledge is very flawed in a lot of ways, and it's like if they remade it, they could make it so much better.
They could farm it out maybe to platinum and get kind of a Bayonetta-ish.
I don't know, I feel like Platinum has a lot of work on their plate already.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Like, maybe they work together on a thing. Anyway.
So yes, that's and oh yeah, there's also like a whole new dungeon, and there's like a bunch of sort of like it's deliberately done. The whole event is sort of going to be kind of silly.
Okay.
What was Graham was showing us the picture of the boss whose name is like something.
He didn't show me that. No. No.
The like big boss guy that you're fighting in the dungeon's name, like if you, it's like it looks weird, but if you actually sound it out, it's like glittering. It's like big prizes or something.
Oh, cash and prizes.
Cash and prizes.
Cash
that's
and
it.
prizes. Yeah.
Cash and prizes.
Yeah. Christ, and his title is even weird too. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
That sounds great.
Cash and prizes.
Yeah. So I mean
That's-
I don't know if we mentioned the Nerf Gjallarhorn is also something that you can't just pre-order. It's something you have
Right.
to earn the right to pre-order.
Which
Right,
this is something that Blizzard has done, or the Destiny has done.
Yeah,
like they've done the thing
lots.
with like cool jackets and hoodies and stuff. There's like there's like a $200 jacket,
Yeah.
but in order to pre-order the $200 jacket, you have to actually like finish this particular quest in the game,
Yeah.
and then you win the right to give Bungie $200 or
Yeah.
whatever.
Because otherwise it would cost you $70,000. Wasn't they? Didn't they have a thing like that? It's like you can pre-order this and just
Yeah,
pay
yeah,
70
it was
grand.
it was still in like the stores like incredibly expensive
Yeah,
unless you
but
did
we'll
the
give
thing.
you like a 95% discount if you can.
Yeah,
if you can
I
find
have
this
mixed feelings on things like that, because in one hand that does sound kind of cool, and on the other hand I'm like, why?
Yeah.
I hope they have enough for the pre-orders though, because I feel like a lot of people will be like, "Oh hell, this is never going to happen again," so I might as well just get in on it. Like, hopefully they'll be like, "We're preparing to work with Nerf to make 100,000 of these or something." Like,
It's 4 feet long.
yeah,
So big.
yeah, but there's, I mean, enough people who play Destiny will probably be like, "I don't want to use it. I'll fire it 3 times, and then I'm just going to hang it up above my couch to let
Like-
all my potential people who come over to my
Oh,
house know the
it
kind
won't
of person I
actually
am."
let you pay the money for the pre-order if you haven't got the discount. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess you could probably set the store up that way.
Yep.
There have been I know for a fact that there have been like other Nerf rocket launchers in the past. I believe there was even like a Nerf mortar.
Yes. Yeah.
But anyway. Razer.
Oh God!
Is
I never want to
making
hear
a
you say
cooler.
words like that ever again. Oh
Well,
my
you're in luck
goodness!
because
Oh,
it says in the
ugh.
story that he's never writing anything like that ever
Good.
again.
I don't like
So
to use.
we all believe him, don't we, Chad?
For his own health.
Uh,
I laughed so hard just there, I knocked my contact lens loose.
You were hilarious.
I
but
was
really
very,
do- it
very
made
funny.
it made me have a reaction I did not like.
so Razer is coming out with this Peltier cooler phone attachment. There's two versions. There's one that's MagSafe and attaches with magnets onto the back of the iPhone. There's also one that clamps on for your either your older iPhones or your Android type phone.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to cool your phone while you're playing the hardcore video games.
More Pokemon Go.
Which
It,
is...
or
I mean,
yeah, it's
my
true.
phone used to heat up
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
with Pokemon
So-
Go.
It's like the problem, like the issues with this are twofold. One, like if you look at the actual store page on Razer, in no place do they actually give any
performance specs.
performance information
Yeah.
about how much it's going to cool your thing, how much it cools it by, whether it will actually improve your system.
Yeah.
Like they're like, it's a fan. It'll probably make things cooler.
like,
That's what fans do.
It has a Peltier cooler as well, so it's like the idea is that thing you can, and so it all has to be powered to begin with. It's like, so it will make a hot side hot because it's going to have a cold
Yeah.
side against your phone, and it'll make that specific area of your phone colder. So the hope is that if you have a phone that has like an aluminum back on it, or any sort of metal back, the conductivity of the heat will hopefully it'll suck that out. But as you pointed out,
Like, how have you ever like been playing a video game for a long time, and then you feel the side of your computer,
yeah,
and it's like noticeably warm?
it's like, oh, it's a little warmer than the room I'm in. Yeah,
Yeah, right. Like you feel the case of your computer, and it's warm. If you then cool down that case, like the case of your computer, that's not going to help your pros. Like, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, and yeah, a phone is like smaller and more.
the case is closer to the system on
stuff,
chip,
but there's
yeah.
still a lot of stuff that needs to be cooled between the outside of the case and the actual thing. Plus, especially for an iPhone, the MagSafe magnets aren't even over the part of the phone that gets hot, right?
No.
Like, because that's not what they're for.
Yeah, you're just cooling the wireless charging rings is what
But
you're
what if
doing.
I want a really cool phone?
Well,
Won't I be so chill?
So the other hilarious thing about this is, there's those there's somebody made some like a controller that had like fans in it and little vents and stuff that will like cool your hands.
I had
while
a
you play.
mouse that had that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I saw people being like, well, at least I'll be like, the phone won't be like all hot in my hands. But this is a Peltier cooler, which means the part against the phone it gets cold, but the part that's out towards your hands or towards the outside gets hot.
By design.
There'll actually be warm air coming out of the back of the thing.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, this has a fan on it that it's something like 30 decibels.
Yeah.
Which is not like super loud, but on the other hand, it's really close to you, and the phone normally doesn't make any noise.
Yes.
All right.
It's just
So,
not a good idea.
Some design flaws is what you're saying.
I mean, I think the thing is like from Razer's perspective, they're
If
like,
you have cold hands, that's true.
Yeah,
If
right.
if you
Warms your hands
if you
up.
want to game outdoors.
oh, and how does it power?
Oh, yes.
It's powered by USB-C. It's
By
not an onboard
USB-C.
battery. It's not some sort of like, we'll suck that off the wireless charging brick on the back of your phone or whatever. Like, they don't do any sort of fancy whatever. It charges by USB-C or it runs by USB-C, which means you have to either plug it into your phone to power it if it'll be detectable as an accessory, so it'll actually take power,
Oh no.
or you have to plug it into something external.
So now you're like, yeah, it has to plug into like the wall or
no,
whatever.
that's terrible. I already had to have an external battery for my phone when playing Pokemon Go.
Like I give props to Razer for being like, we want to try a whole bunch of new different things and whatever, but I'm like, Chief, this ain't it. Like this is a thing where it's like I can't see who you're helping by designing this.
I remember one of my old iPhones was starting to, like, the battery in it was starting to die, and it did the thing where sometimes it would go from like 100% to like, and then it would be like 100%, 80%, 5% dead.
Yeah.
As you're watching it, right?
Yeah.
But what I found out is that it was only, it did that especially in the winter, like when it was cold, because that's like how the chemistry of lithium-ion batteries work. Is like it was having a lot of trouble when it was cold, right?
Yeah.
And so there's this weird balance where, of course, when the phone is running, is doing a lot of stuff, it warms up. Mm-hmm. But when the phone is doing a lot of stuff, that also requires more power. So there was a balance where the phone kept itself warm enough to make the battery work properly, but it didn't use so much power that it drained the battery really fast anyway.
Right.
That if I was doing certain types of things, I could actually make it last for a while. But that was the indication that I needed to get a new phone.
Yeah.
Anyway, I feel like this goes into the same realm as the like Razer when they made the their like sweet ground effect, or the sweet mask that they made.
Yeah, Sam Matchkovich tried that out on Ars Technica, and it looked amazing.
And is terrible.
Yeah.
I feel it's the same thing. Like, I think Razer gets a lot of traction out of these kind of things. That like
sure.
But like the creation of it, it's kind of like what they do.
It feels like Skunkworks projects, right? It's like we did a thing because we want to see if we
can.
Or
they do like the concept cars.
Yeah.
And stuff,
Yeah,
right?
it
Like
feels...
they do things to like check out what we could do.
Yeah, it feels like they let us in on their brainstorming
But
meetings.
they don't. Yeah, and obviously this is farther along than that. And it is actually being produced as a product, theoretically, but I'm guessing they're not going to sell much.
Yeah.
It's worth it just for the, like, look at us, we're cool aspect.
Yeah.
I mean, they're fun to talk about.
Now, I had, when I was writing this in the middle of the night, I kept reading it over and over. This is another one where I could make it to the end without laughing, which is great. But it's another one where it was really challenging because I didn't know how I wanted to end it. And so when I got to the word gigantic, I was like, is that the right word? And so I walked around my living room at like 3 a.m, trying not to wake Heather up, but also being like, yes, you will have enormous balls. Yes, you will have elephantine balls. And we realized that after we were done recording, I think Paul had thrown a word out. We were talking about something else. And I was like, oh, I should have said, you will have cumbersome balls. Because I think that really encapsulates everything about both your balls and the products.
You know, when you're wearing headphones and you hear you yell gigantic balls into the microphone, I could hear it echoing off the walls.
It's much louder.
Weird.
Yeah, I could hear the ring in the room actually.
And that's when like Adam just walked in to get ready to do LRMTG that day, and he was like,
he walked right up to the edge of the CheckPoint room as I went, you will have gigantic balls. And he just stopped for a second and looked in and then just turned and kept walking.
Yeah.
It was so subtle.
He thought he'd ruined their take too. And if I could have put any of that in the outro or anything that would have made it actually good, I would have posted that. But without the
you can't
you can't really hear him, and nobody cracked.
But it's just so funny because although too it's like he walked in and that's the only line he heard, and Graham told him as Graham's killing himself laughing, he's like, we're recording. He's like, no, I know. It's like, how did you know that from what happened?
I've seen the show.
I mean, it's safe to assume you're just always recording, especially if you're in that room.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, big shout outs to the very kind person in the YouTube comments who is like, that's the Razer story was super funny. But seriously though, if you have I just got over testicular cancer. if you and your videos have were great to be watching while I was doing chemo. If you have a problem with gigantic balls, please get them checked out.
Yeah.
That's that. I saw that comment this morning too, and I was just like, oh, all right.
Shout outs to that person. And of course the last story here is talking about Ubisoft Quartz,
It's a barn burner of a story.
where they're selling their digits.
So
Yeah, this is this whole
Weird.
we don't have to reiterate this too much, but yeah, it's basically Ubisoft is making this trying to get in on the NFT thing by making this product,
It's
making
essentially-
new versions of their or making new in-game.
yeah, it's an in-game
Items.
currency almost.
Yeah, well, it's new items to sell that theoretically are unique in the sense that they have like a barcode on them. They're not
Like a replicant.
Yeah, they're not actually like unique in the sense of it actually being like a different pair of wolf enhanced
Right,
pants.
wolf enhanced pants. That's what I was trying to remember. What Graham said.
There's a wolf enhanced pants and wolf enhanced helmet.
That's good.
Don't know what that means.
It's not a unique thing, except that there's like this is like a unique version of it. It's got like a barcode on it.
Yeah, so you can
Anyway.
or you can eventually own Ninja's wolf enhanced pants.
I don't want to know.
They
Maybe.
basically, I think Graham mentioned in the after show. There's an Ars Technica article on it that goes through real detail. Basically, they took NFTs, which already have all sorts of there's all the criticisms of NFTs. They took anything that could possibly be considered to be a good aspect of an NFT and removed it,
Yeah.
so that now it's just it's DLC but with extra steps, and all those extra steps make it worse.
Yeah.
And so yeah, just making basically the like you can imagine that there's like maybe there's like some young go-getter at Ubisoft who was very excited about NFTs and like came up with this idea, and then they took and then the like higher ups, they're like, this is a great idea, we're gonna do this. Well, but of course we can't let people have more than one of them.
Right.
That would
No,
be ridiculous.
exactly.
And well, we want people to have played the at least up to level 5 of the game, and
you can watch
we
the junior
don't want people to be
executives.
like reselling them for. We don't want people to be like making money on them because we want the money. So, and basically like all the little like parts that
Yeah.
make NFTs even remotely interesting. Completely being removed.
You can just see that the light in that junior executive's eyes is just dimming and going out as he has to just keep going.
Yeah.
Keep saying, "Good point, sir.
Yeah.
Are we still on for harassing our employees later?"
And then they're like, great job about that NFT idea you had. He's like,
Oh man.
Or
I'm
be like,
ever-
"That NFT stuff everyone's making fun of. It's your fault. You're out of the company.
right, yeah. Well, that's the other
I
thing.
was already quitting."
That's the other thing. So the marketing, the like announcement video for Ubisoft for Ubisoft Quartz, has been delisted. Like it's still available to
Oh,
watch if you
right.
click on the page, but
It's,
it's not public anymore.
It's unlisted, which is
Yeah.
it's just YouTube's way of saying we won't put it in search and stuff, but if you have the
If you have the link,
link,
it will-
you can
yeah.
still see it.
And that's because now, even though YouTube has hidden the dislikes, you can still access it from the API at the moment. And it's got something like a 95% it's some out of the like 400,000 views it's got.
Yeah.
It's got like 1,000 likes and like 30,000 dislikes. And yeah.
Okay, so the thing about this is like, people, I had said during the after talk that it's like, look, the blockchain itself, in and of itself, as a technology, is not. And just think about it as not what it has turned into. Just think about it as in terms of what the technology is an interesting, useful technology for very specific use cases. The idea of I can make an entry that's a completely I can make an entry on a ledger that no one can change because it's locked in, and it's locked in because of specific immutable elements. It's like, that's great. Now people be like, well, that's just a database you can lock a record to. I'm like, not technically, because if you, it's like public and private key encryption, right? If you change anything about one thing, you're gonna not be able to decrypt whatever it is you're looking at. It's like these things rely upon each other to ensure that you have an immutable ledger of facts, rather than just like, well, I locked a record in a database. It's like, well, someone can unlock that record and change the thing if they want to. So this is good in some cases, perhaps supply chain cases. You know, you were talking about a good idea would be concert tickets that are distributed digitally, right? Like,
yeah, there's, yeah. Anyway,
ideas like that, and it's like there's room for those kind of things to exist in technology. This is the thing where I think a lot of us feel like this is no different. You have full control. You have 100% control over this to begin with already. Why do you need to blockchain
well, I
it?
mean, there's that, but also the well has been poisoned.
It's
It's not a conversation you can properly have, because they're corporate buzzwords now.
Yeah.
We've seen this all the way back to that weird Cooking Mama story we did, where they were like talking about blockchain technology and their
And you're like,
stuff.
why?
And everybody was like, wait,
I think
is it doing cryptocurrency? And it's weird, right? And
I think we talked about the everybody, all the like tech, advisor people are just like going back into their slide stacks, find replace blockchain with NFT print.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, it's kind of the same thing at the moment, in the sense that it's like, look, we'll make it NFT, but without, like, I feel like there's a lot of these announcements of things that are going to be blockchain or NFT that won't actually come out. Like, nothing will actually happen because they'll get to the point where they realize that there's nothing that they can actually do with it.
And while I hate the fact that we're seeing more and more companies say, "Hey, we're gonna take our business model, and then we're gonna say the word blockchain, and now everyone's going to give us a bunch of money," like this thing, Ubisoft doing this, Kickstarter doing this, a bunch of like other companies being like, "Oh, it's all gonna be about blockchain. It's all gonna be about NFTs. It's all gonna be about this." I'm thankful that we're hearing about all of this, that they're showing their whole ass online, because I'm like, I want to know that you are that kind of company that are just desperate to try to make any sort of impact in the marketplace, because that tells me a lot about who you are. B, I want to know that you're trying this shit out in public, because inevitably this can fail and you're going to have to take some heat for it. I want to know that all's going on, because in the places where we're not seeing this go on, like, there's probably lots of places where blockchains are being used in a smaller, very isolated instance, where they're probably working very well for that company, and I bet you that company's not going to say shit about it to anybody.
Anyway.
We can go away from this conversation, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Garfield?
Let's talk about Garfield.
Great.
Garfield, noted action powerhouse, is going to be one of the new It's one of the new the fighters in the Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. It's funny. It's great now, because all the stories about Smash now are about how
It's too many fighters.
no. Well, what's the
It's,
Yasuhiro Sakurai.
Yeah, Sakura. Yeah. It's about how relaxed Sakurai is now.
Yeah.
Like, there was a story about people like asking him about the next Smash Brothers, and he was like, "If I was going to make another Smash Brothers, it would there would be like less fighters and stuff." And then the story like goes on to talk about like how he likes driving, going out for drives in the countryside, all this stuff.
Yeah, or that he puts so much of himself into it that he doesn't know if there can be another Smash without him.
Yeah.
Or things like that. That's all the Smash stories are now.
So now we have to go to the next place to go for random fighting game combinations of things is Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl.
Yeah.
And they are adding Garfield. And I don't know why Garfield in particular seems so weird to me.
Yeah.
When there's like, SpongeBob SquarePants and all these things. But like, something about and you can see a bit of the trailer in the outro for the episode. Something about Garfield beating up April O'Neil.
Yeah.
Just seems wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
In just like, not only that it's like giant cartoon cat fighting with like a regular looking person.
Yeah.
Also just Garfield like punching anybody. It looks weird.
I'd have an easier time with it if it was like Mary Worth or Rex
It's-
Morgan MD.
I watched the Garfield cartoon as a kid, or one of them. I'm sure there's multiples for some reason. Garfield isn't the type to go punching people. He's the type that gets like Odie to knock himself off the shelf or do something sneaky.
He's tricky. Yeah,
he's
yeah.
Not, he's about sleeping in and hating Mondays and eating lasagna. He doesn't want to exercise.
Yeah.
He's not going to go smash.
Well, he isn't going to be available on Mondays.
That's false.
What I have heard.
That's
Thank
false.
God, because I
That
was
is-
like, man, that'd
that
be
is-
so great.
That is a joke.
It would be so
It's
great.
false. You say it would be great until the day somebody actually who wants to play the game can't play because it's Monday.
It would be a pretty ridiculous thing for them to put in the game.
Yeah. It's why it seemed so real to me, because I was like, you're putting Garfield in this game. Well, I guess anything's possible. I guess you can make him not available on Mondays as long as you're.
I'm surprised they didn't
Monday,
at least
right?
do the announcement on Monday.
Right, that would have been funny too.
That would have been funny. I've come out to fight because I hate Mondays.
Yeah.
Monday's fighting day. I don't know. This game is out now, right?
I don't know.
Like
Yes.
I know there's gonna be more articles as it's like, oh,
As
we're
they're, like,
introducing
adding-
whatever and
adding
whatever,
new-
but I don't know a single person who's playing this game. Even though I know people who were like, oh yeah, that looks like fun. I'd like to check it out, but I don't know if they even know if it's out or if they actually care anymore.
Chad says it is out.
Is it good? Is it like? I don't do the fighting games, so I'm not gonna play it just out of not interest. But
Yeah.
is he good?
It's out. Those perler beads? Sorry.
Oh, in the
roll up to
logo?
picture briefly.
No, that's Lego.
Okay, never mind. Sorry. On with the show.
All right. So let's talk about. So actually, before we talk about some of the stories we didn't talk about on the some of the couple extra stories, we should mention the Video Game Awards,
Okay.
which happened yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you want to have the full hot take rundown, the VOD is actually available. We were not sure whether it would be, but at least at this point,
It's on Twitch currently.
the VOD is on Twitch.
It's not muted, which is weird to me. But it's there.
So you can check that out and hang out with Graham and watch, and Andrew, I believe. Also
Yes,
joined.
Andrew joined remotely. Whether or not it goes up on YouTube, because YouTube is different, and so
Yeah.
who knows what YouTube might do to it. But we'll see.
And we can just cut the Sting part out.
I'll probably
Although-
just cut out anything that's like.
It's always
people
it's
talking
like
at.
the game trailers use a chunk of music or whatever that sometimes messes things up.
Well, because during part of it, like Beat Saber is getting like a Lady Gaga music or something, and
Right.
there was definitely parts of the show where it was like, oh, who knows?
So anyway, you watched. I didn't. To be honest, I didn't actually watch most of it. I like looked at some recaps afterwards, but you watched most of it.
I
didn't
watched Graham watch it,
you? Okay.
and Andrew, I guess.
Tunic's coming out in March.
Yeah, that was the pre-show.
Yeah.
Tunic's finally coming out in March.
Yeah. Did they give all the creative awards at the pre-show?
I
I'm
don't.
guessing.
I
don't
didn't.
know
I
what
didn't.
to
I
do
didn't
with
pay
that.
attention to the awards portion of the show. I don't think anyone did.
So, I think this is interesting. It's like you watched the show
Yes.
with that Graham was co-streaming.
Yes.
You don't remember any of the awards from the awards show. You probably don't care about the ads from the awards show. What of the awards show do you actually remember?
I remember. The new Star Wars game is being made by Quantum Dream, and I
And
watched
Graham
everybody.
had a goddamn heart attack.
I watched everyone deflate on that because it's like Star Wars Eclipse or something.
He was like,
They,
what?
They showed the entire ad, and then at the very end showed Quantic Dream. And Graham deflated so hard in his chair that Beach came over running to me. He's like, wait, what happened? I'm like, oh, this.
They announced Quantic Dream doing the new game.
We lost LucasArts for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's that. Tunic, because excited about Tunic. Thirsty Suitors looks really... I still don't know what's going on in that game, but it seems awesome.
A little on the nose.
It's a dating sim that's actually a 2D fighter.
Is it?
But there's jet set radio aspects, and there's also cooking mini games.
Is it?
Right?
You got that from the trailer?
I
Because
got
all
all
I
that
got
from
from
the-
the trailer
I got-
was everything looks awesome, and I don't know what's going on.
I got all that from the trailer, and I'm like, I guess this is what's going on. So it takes two. One game of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is interesting. For one thing, I'm really surprised it was this year.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I also keep forgetting that we're not in 2020, so...
But it's like Heather and I played it earlier this year.
Yeah.
But I was under the impression it had been out for a while before we played it. But anyway, yeah, I certainly enjoyed it as a game. I liked it a lot. I to be honest, I haven't played that many games that came out this year, so I don't know, have a great way of evaluating
I'm
it.
still surprised because it was up against Psychonauts 2. Resident Evil 8 was in there.
Metroid Dread.
Yeah, Metroid Dread. There are a couple other games that I can't recall.
Yeah,
offhand.
Metroid Dread. Like I've been actually playing Psychonauts 2 at home, and I think I like It Takes Two. They actually have a lot of similarities in the sense of like just the bonkers level design and creativity.
Yeah.
But I think It Takes Two has the edge, just in terms of gameplay and stuff. Although Psychonauts 2 has some nice parts in it, but
Yeah, it wouldn't have been the one that I thought would have won.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, I didn't play any of the other games that were in that listing, so I don't know. But because I remember It Takes Two was fun to play, but I felt like the other games probably had stronger writing.
I was hoping for either.
Probably again.
I was hoping for either that to win or for Metroid Dread to win because I played Dread and I'm a Nintendo fan and whatever.
Yeah.
But also felt like if Dread wins, I'll be like, oh, that's cool. Should it have? Like I would have said that. I would have been like, is it the game of the year? I don't know if it is.
It
was
Takes
a
Two.
fun game. I had a great time playing it. But I'm like, but for It Takes Two to win, I was like, uncontested. I haven't even played. I'm just like, uncontested. Let that game win.
Yeah.
Great. Like smaller games like that rarely get a chance to be highlighted. So
Yeah, but I really wish last year Hades had won.
I mean, last year I wish that Animal Crossing had won.
Yeah, but if we're gonna go with like a smaller game winning a thing, I really would have
Oh,
preferred
if Hades had pulled it off, like
yeah,
if Hades
I
had
really
gotten it, it would
wanted.
have been
That's
like,
where I wanted
that's
it.
a shot across the bow to say everyone in the AAA industry maybe needs to rethink what it is they're doing with their lives.
I heard that Deathloop did kind of clean up though.
Deathloop
did pretty well in terms of awards.
Like on direction and stuff like that, and writing maybe. It Takes Two won what I call the Nintendo category, which is the best family game category, because it's almost always Nintendo games in there. So that
Dread was not going to win best
that
family
was
game.
odd.
I mean, what's neat about a game like It Takes Two winning? Like I said, the just totally bonkers creativity of it is encouraging to see that sort of rewarded, as opposed to World War II fighter, shooter, whatever.
What else? There was a lot of stuff with zombies or monsters that really wanted to have their mouths and teeth in their necks for some reason. I remember a lot of that. So thanks for those new night terrors.
Teeth in the wrong spot is like a go-to.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's like a go-to horror thing.
Humanoid creature with big mouth, no eyes.
Yeah. It's mouths and eyes in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
There's like a weird.
Yeah.
I think there is there's probably somebody who's done research on it. There's like a weird, deeply it's just like fundamentally unsettling for humans.
Yeah.
Alan Wake 2 is
I heard
coming out in
about
2023. So they're making it a horror survival game.
That's basically what it was before.
I know, I don't remember the names of people, but the guy that they had talking about it was just like, yes, I think you were finally ready now for this game. And I thought that was fun.
Nice.
What about performances and appearances and stuff?
Well, we saw a trailer for the Sonic 2 movie. And,
Right.
and Knuckles is definitely sexy, so they failed there.
Sting was
But,
there
well.
singing a song. Was Sting's song good?
Sting sang some sort of riot song.
Idris Elba did his best to make Sonic not sexy,
And
or to make Knuckles not sexy, but
Imagine Dragons was a thing. I don't know who they are though, so that.
Did that song Clocks?
you sure there wasn't just like there was imaginary dragons?
No, I would have remembered that. That I would have remembered. Oh, they talked about the new Matrix movie.
Right.
Keanu Reeves moved his hands around a lot.
Right, Keanu was there.
No, he was video form there.
Oh, but he was in
But
appearance.
he kept moving his
Which
hands.
is funny because I believe
He
he
was
was
fun.
also there last time.
Yeah.
For
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there was no announcement of like a Matrix game, is there?
Yeah, no, they kept referring to it as an experience that you could download and was free. It looked like a rail shooter of some kind. I don't remember what it was called.
I think you'll find, though, that all of the Canadians who were present at the Game Awards were delightful people. Keanu Reeves was delightful, and Simu Liu was delightful, and I'm sure Jeff Keighley was delightful and let everyone know he was Canadian. Did he?
He had one moment where he pointed out his studio was Canadian, where you could tell he was very much like, oh yeah, Canada.
He needs
so
to just
that
go
was-
on stage with like a balloon lapel pin or
But
something.
I don't recall him having. I mean, I missed part of a thing in the middle, so maybe it happened. But I don't recall him doing that thing where he's just like, "Oh yes, fellow Canadians," like he's done in previous years. Which is kind of too bad. It's kind of a fun, jokey thing.
Yeah.
What's the other thing that was real? Steel Rising looked super cool, and I don't know if it's going to be a good game or not. But I'm really into French Revolution robots that are all steampunk.
Cool.
And that's PS5, so, June next year, I guess, for me.
Not a good name, but it's just like when I hear a name like Steel Rising, it's like makes me think of like maybe kind of like some sort of
Yeah.
FPS or some sort of like RTS type game or something like.
You really want it to be called, like, Clockwork something, or I know I saw somebody because I was watching our stream of Graham do the thing, I saw someone in the chat say they should have called it Gears of War, which would have been really funny, but probably wouldn't have gone over well. Yeah. Oh, yes. Simu Liu.
Yeah, Simu Liu, yeah.
Yeah.
His bit was not very good, you told me.
It was just it was drawn out, and I feel bad because I'm like he is
His
so
bit
much
was
better.
he wanted to be playing Halo and he couldn't, so he was on his phone the entire time watching his buddies play Halo or watching streamers play Halo, but he wanted to be out playing Halo, so he was up here doing this instead. And
Yeah, it
went
was
on
just
too long,
it was
apparently.
just
I
like
didn't
it was
watch
just
it.
clunky.
Yeah,
It was,
being like doing like a funny bit
yeah.
can be real deadly.
And
Yeah.
and the thing is, I've seen him in like other stuff, and in documentary type things and stuff, and he's so much better than that bit.
Yeah.
I think there's probably some other stuff. I know there's like a Star Trek game from Telltale Games.
Who are around again, apparently.
Yeah, which that I heard about that and that confused
another,
me.
I think another company is wearing their skin.
That makes sense.
Because I'm pretty sure they completely went under.
I find that terrifying, the idea that it's like, I'll buy up the name of your studio, and then I'll just hire all new people and be like, look, Telltale's putting in a new thing. Everyone's like, oh, I remember Telltale.
Yeah, well, I mean,
It's
the
like, okay.
Telltale name has cachet.
Yeah.
It's like there were games under that people were very excited for, and it kind of denotes a specific kind of game
Sure.
in
I
story wise.
just want to see that studio put out like a looter shooter, but like Telltale Games makes it. It's like, what is this all about? Why?
Yeah.
Anyway.
The I don't know. I'm not sure if I care about a Star Trek game, but I did see a scene where it was just like obey orders, disobey, and it was just like, well, I kind of want to see somebody just hit the disobey button a lot.
I'm pretty sure in The Expanse, that disobey button, not to have any spoilers for The Expanse, it's a great show. You should watch it. It's on Amazon Prime. Not to endorse Amazon Prime, but
But if you have Prime, you can watch it.
But
and
it's a
also use
great
your
show,
subscription
and
here.
people hit the disobey button a lot.
Nah.
Yeah, I bet.
In fact, I feel like they don't even have an obey the orders button. I don't know why they even bother giving each other orders. To be
Yeah,
honest.
illusion of choice. Yeah, like there was some fun bits, but it's just, I don't know. The Game Awards is this thing where it's 3 hours long, and I'm just like,
Or is it 4 hours?
well, with the pre-show, it's closer to 4.
Right. In what way was the pre-show different than the actual? Like the pre-show just seemed to be more trailers.
The pre-show had more awards faster, but awards that you kind of feel like maybe they don't want you to care. Or something. I'm not sure. All I know is I did miss part of it. I didn't see something like the award for the best GIF on the internet this year, so that's a step up. Because that was weird last year. The world premiere thing. Didn't they used to do a voice where a guy would say world premiere? Because I feel like they didn't do that at all.
What was the 2.5 years in production world premiere thing?
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I'm assuming
I know it was not Breath of the Wild 2.
Breath of the
That
Wild.
did not
I'm assuming
happen.
Breath of the Wild 2 didn't get announced.
The only stuff I saw from Nintendo was like sizzle reels about stuff we already knew. But
Good for them.
if they did a thing where Jeff came out and said, "Oh, here's the thing that I've been waiting for," I didn't see it. I missed that part.
Maybe they pulled it and nobody knew about it, and everyone's left wondering.
Okay, the Cuphead DLC was really cool. Cuphead's not my thing, but they had a performance with like era appropriate stuff with like
jazz
these
music,
microphones and like the flapper type dresses, I think, in blue and stuff, and that was really cool. And then they did like an ad for the DLC that was all puppets and stuff, and I was just like, all right, your advertising's neat.
Nice.
And I guess that'll give Adam something to do. Along with Monster Hunter, because they pointed out Monster Hunter again. There's like an expansion pack coming for that.
More monsters to hunt.
When I heard Graham mention, is that a Monster Hunter? I thought I should come in the room and start being like, oh, tell me about the monster. He's like, shit, and then get him to do a Shut Up Steve speech. Because I'm sure he would have done it if he saw me come in the room. But yeah, it's like that's forcing things to happen.
It seems more fun because I'm just talking about all this cool stuff I remember. But it's a long show to sit through.
Especially when it's like, couldn't we just release all these trailers? Just like release, it's an interesting thing of like trying to create a show,
Like build a framework through which
trying
you
to have
advertise.
enough stuff around the trailers, which is the reason why the show exists,
Yeah.
to sort of pretend that it's not just a trailer show.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is why I watched Graham and Andrew talk about it, because it was
Right.
fun watching them forget that George R.R. Martin's part of Elden Ring.
Yeah.
And try to remember what studios that they're excited about, actually what the other stuff they actually did,
Yeah.
and talk through all the parts that you're like, cool.
It's like back in the day when MTV showed music videos.
Right.
They can't just show music videos. There has to be like a show around it.
Yeah. You have to thematically say like, oh, Yo MTV Raps is on, so we know what's happening at this time.
Yeah, I mean, I like E3 because the shows are kind of like split up, and Nintendo does their like 40 minutes of trailers, and you're like, cool, done. And this, I'm like, right, the show is like how many? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I'll.
Now we only got this one show. So
They're doing more zombies. Cool. I'll go to the bathroom.
Actually,
We'll
it's
come
funny
back.
to imagine an E3 where it's like in the middle of somebody's keynote. They're like, oh, we're going to take a quick break while we're telling you about this game so we can advertise something that we have no idea what's coming up next. And then like an ad for Nintendo drops in the middle of the Xbox thing. And then like a PlayStation ad comes up after that. And then we're back, but it's the PC keynote for some reason. You don't know why you're doing that. And then they cut to the Nintendo keynote halfway through. And you're like, what the fuck's going on?
There was like a lot of ads in the middle that were about like really cool, inclusive, positive gaming experiences, and that would end with Facebook gaming.
Yes.
It's
Like, it's just, it depends on where Your disappointment levels
You're
are
like, ah!
But I always remember the thing that always gets me with these kinds of shows is when you're not sure if what you're watching is a trailer for a game or an advertisement for like a console or a studio or a
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
And so you'll be like, wow, this game looks cool. And then there'll be like, Space Marines fighting stuff. And you'll be like, this is kind of neat. And then like Dragon will come in. You're like, wow. And then they'll be like doing like, farming. You'll be like, what? All this stuff is in one game?
Yeah.
There is one thing that I don't think we could stream, but I would love to see an 8-play, because I'm assuming you can do 8 players in this. Among Us got VR.
Wow.
And that sound is it just seems terrifying.
So it's like
And I think it would
3D?
be really, really funny to watch a bunch of everybody in Studio C like taped off.
That would be difficult.
Yeah, I know it would be, but I'd love to see it.
All right.
That's not likely something we can even do, but I think it would be funny as heck.
We have time left to roll over our last few stories.
Sure, yeah.
All right.
Let's talk about the last couple stories here. Starting with this thing, which is, I feel like this is a scam. So this is about a scam, and I feel like this is something that just kind of happens like
To all industries.
all over the place all the time.
Yeah.
But in this case, it seems to be happening a lot for video game stuff, and particularly Riot Games. This is not actually Riot Games' fault, which is
No.
impressive. This is a scam involving Riot Games, but Riot Games is not the one at fault here. What it is people get hired are being
Interviewed for a job.
ostensibly being interviewed for a job at Riot Games. Talk to a hiring manager, talk to several other
Yeah,
people
go through all the hiring
at
stages.
Riot Games.
Get hired.
Get hired, and then they have to
They might have to move or something, or they might have to confirm some stuff. So you have to give them
Yeah.
your direct deposit information.
give the direct deposit information in order to get their paycheck, or they have to buy something and then they'll be reimbursed by the company.
Yeah.
They buy the thing, the reimbursement check doesn't clear because it's actually all fake.
They were just giving them money. Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like the objective, it's like at the end of all the stuff, the objective is to get the person to put some money in, and then you'll be like, it's cool, we'll pay you back. Like it's basically the old I have $1 million or I have $10 million.
It's a 419 scheme. Yeah.
It's like basically that, but just put through a different kind of filter. So it's like this whole process of like you think you have a job at a company that you want to have a job at, and then it turns out to not only be a scam, so you don't actually have the job, but also like they took a bunch of your money.
Yeah, and I mean part of the article talked about how scams like this are going up because there's the pandemic. There's people trying to work from home, so it's a little easier to get some of that stuff. You don't question it as much.
And when you're doing an interview, you don't necessarily go to the place to do the interview. It's all remote.
Now, Riot is brought up in this article because they are trying to sue the people who are doing the scam. Which is because that's why this is like a big thing. Riot is getting involved to try and do this. What makes me sad about it is when I read the thing where they're like, oh well, they're targeting people who are new to the industry, don't know quite how these interviews work yet, and they're naive and they're passionate about wanting to be in the games thing.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, yeah, the same people that you hire and spit out, I'm sure too.
Yeah. It's a because it's happening, and it's not even happening because the job postings are being put up on like Indeed and like job advertising agencies, right?
Yeah.
Websites you can go to say this is this thing that's available. So the fact that Riot doesn't have to get involved here at all, because this has nothing to do with their business other than just their name being put up, like it's fraud committed on behalf of using their name. So it's like, sure, but despite all the shit that Riot's been doing, I do want to give them props for the thing of that they want to put a stop to this, and so they are getting involved to try to fix this by filing a lawsuit so that they can begin the process of finding out who the people who are committing the scams are. And apparently that's the thing about, because you could get law enforcement involved, but there's so many things going on for them to say, no, we're going to file a lawsuit. That means we have to find out who these people are. That means we have to concentrate on doing them. Like, okay, good. That's a great first step, and hopefully they are successful in finding the people who are doing this.
I think beyond Riot, places that do these work listings maybe need to have better. Like they talk about how they're like, oh yes, we try to make sure verification and stuff. And you can always report a fake looking thing and whatever. And I'm like, yes, but if you don't know what if the thing is fake.
Yeah.
And what verification are you doing that a bunch of scam artists are managing to get through and put these listings up on your site?
Like,
then maybe you need to retool those.
I can go register a domain, riotgames.com. I can go register that domain name if I want to, just by changing one of the letters to be one of the ones that is in Unicode that looks like an A but is not an A, right?
Or,
you can do that kind of stuff now.
Or with like an L instead of an I, or whatever.
And do that over amount of time, and people are not going to pay that much attention. And here we are, all of a sudden, I can be committing this scam, and
what would be great is if Riot gave these people a real interview.
Yeah, that would be really cool if they're like, okay, well, let's.
Because it's not only like how stressful a job interview is.
Yeah.
And then you realize that you literally could have said the point is to get you could have said anything.
Yeah.
And they would have been like, yes, you're hired by us, Riot Games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we are Riot Games.
Don't forget to give us your bank account information.
But
we need it here at Riot Games.
Yeah. But if the person actually did give a good interview to this fraudulent person, it would be nice if they could also have the opportunity to give a good interview to real Riot.
Especially if you're just out of school or you really need to pay those student loans.
Or you just quit your job because you got hired at Riot.
Yeah.
And you quit your job and then you find out, oh my God, I got scammed. Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like an incredibly devastating state of mind to have to go through, especially because an interview process can be really awful on its own.
Yeah.
And if they're doing a lot of it, because it sounds like they make you go through several steps to see that you're going through.
And the person you talk to is a real, that's the other thing, is that they're impersonating Riot employees.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the advice here is that if you do end up in a situation like this, where you're getting interviewed and whatever, and you're going to be taking a new job and you're quitting your old job, don't quit by walking into your boss's office and pissing all over his desk. When you get the new job, wait 2 weeks to make sure it's a real job, and then mail him a cup of your urine and tell him to pour it all over your desk.
Okay, well, I guess watch out for that in the future, Paul. From him, not from me. I ain't doing that.
He's doing it just mail time. It's fine. Hey, here's a package from me. Oh, that's weird.
I forgot what I sent myself. Fair enough.
All right. We were talking about that Halo has just come out. Halo Infinite is big news. Obviously, people are really enjoying it. Playing through the campaign. Unfortunately, there's a lot of unlocks in the game. There's lots of little collectibles, stuff to find
things.
or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And if you miss them, if you go through the level and you miss some of the collectibles, don't worry, you can just go back and play the level again. Wait, no, you can't.
So less infinite and more finite.
Yeah, I guess for whatever reason, the single player currently, they're planning on updating this, but currently, the single player game of Halo or single player campaign of Halo, you cannot replay levels. You can restart the campaign completely.
Do everything from scratch.
But you cannot replay levels. And that seems strange. What's even stranger is there's there's some explanation
Like 343 has said, we
The-
did it this way
it's
for
like-
this reason.
We want to have a replay that works well, and when you have a more open game, it gets a lot trickier. So we made the decision to improve the quality of the single-player campaign to ensure that, as a foundation, it's as strong as it could possibly be, so that we can then add the other features back in.
I still
I
don't
haven't
get
played
it.
Halo Infinite, but like being able to replay a level doesn't seem like it should be that hard. But maybe I guess if it's like an open world thing and stuff might have like been changed by something you do later.
Yeah.
I guess that
Yes,
could be.
maybe that still seems real weird to me.
The thing I understand, like in like the fact that any big game gets made, it takes an awful lot of work.
Sure.
Right? We can acknowledge that. And I don't think, I mean, hey, you know, Matt was involved with this game. I want to give Matt Wiggins the benefit of the doubt that he was, whatever pieces he worked on, he worked the hardest he could.
I'm pretty
and
sure
had to
this
make
wasn't his responsibility.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this
But
is
the
likely
pieces
not
he had to work
something
on, he worked as hard as he could. He knew he had to make compromises. You know, you tried to do a thing so you can get a game out. And I imagine this is maybe that same kind of thing where they're like, we had to compromise on doing something.
Yeah.
We just picked a thing to compromise.
Sure.
It's a little weird to compromise on.
Yeah, I guess it seems odd, but you know what? Yeah, maybe this saved a couple weeks of coding time.
Yeah.
Or at least, I feel like it might be one of those things that's like easy to add as a feature, but adds a lot of QA testing overhead,
Yeah.
maybe. Because then you have to like test. Now you have to test like whether doing all these like every combination of doing levels in every order will mess things. You know, whether that'll mess things up.
And I don't think, I mean, it's probably hurt the game in some respects, but I don't think a completely unscientific sample that I have taken from a bunch of people that have been on Desert Bus or like whatever. Every night there's a chunk of people who are like, Halo Infinite tonight? They're like, hell yeah. And,
sure.
And people are constantly playing this game anyway. So I'm like, I don't think it's going to hurt it in the long run, but it is one of those things where it's like, that sucks that this isn't a thing you can do from the get-go.
It's also like I feel like Halo in particular, not just this iteration of it, but it's sort of historically as well, is kind of it's got this sort of it's highly sort of achievement based.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it was one of the early. It was very very early original Xbox game. You know, the whole idea of like. Xbox achievements and stuff was sort of I feel like more so than a lot of other games, the idea of like the completionist thing more Halo players might be kind of into that.
Yeah. I hope that they fix this because it really.
Well, I think they want
sounds
to.
like
as
they're
well.
they're working on it.
Yeah.
I mean, my understanding is as well when the game launched, it didn't come with multiplayer. It was just the single player campaign. But my understanding is the multiplayer is free. Like if you just want to play multiplayer.
For Infinite?
Yeah, I thought that was true. Or
yes.
is it, I think, yeah.
Yes, at least.
Like you can download the client and just play the multiplayer thing for free.
Yes, the multiplayer. Yeah, and
Multiplayer came first?
the multiplayer has been out for a little bit.
Okay.
And then the single player came out just like this week.
Okay, I thought I'd heard the other way around, which was weird to me, but so that makes more sense.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's free to play.
Neat.
But I think it's really cool when multiplayer games have like a free component because it's way easier to get your friends to join then.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right, and then I think there's just this one other story, which is there's a new GTA. So GTA Online is adding a new
Mission?
mission.
Yeah. Okay. It's a mission.
A new set of missions.
Yeah.
That stars
An episode. That's what they're calling
the
it.
episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
That stars Franklin from GTA 5.
Yep. I think Lamar as well.
And Dr. Dre.
The Dr. Dre.
Never forget
Yes.
Dr.
Yeah.
Dre.
Yes. And what's I love the sort of meta aspect of this. So the mission is I feel like this is a mission that actually has been done in GTA games on multiple occasions.
Yeah.
But so the mission is Dr. Dre is in it as Dr. Dre.
Okay, good.
And the idea is that some gang or some people have stolen like a USB stick with his new album on it.
Yeah.
And you have to go get it.
Or a smartphone or something.
That's real. In the sense that Dr. Dre is actually dropping a new album to go along with this.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So the album that you are getting off in the game is the album that's actually coming out for real.
When if I recover this thing that has the album on it, do I unlock all the music in the game? Do I get to listen to it in game now?
I don't know.
Because that
Possibly?
seems like that would be a cool thing to have.
It's interesting too.
I think the mission, the new unreleased Dr. Dre music is coming to Grand Theft Auto. Yeah, I think it is actually going to be in. Yeah.
It sounds like what's going on is that there's because the episode is you through a means of whatever get to meet Dre and like whomever else, and so then you are heading out on these missions to try to find out where this smartphone or USB stick, where these missing tracks have gotten to, and so there's lots of things to do surrounding trying to track this thing down in the first place, and you're going to participate in a lot of different stuff that's going on, which I'm like, okay, so this isn't just the thing of we made a new mission, go do this thing, and boom, you're done. It's like, no, we have a series of missions that all surround this thing, and it's more playtime.
What this says to me, though, is that he doesn't keep backups of any of his tracks. He put the originals on a cell phone or something.
Right.
And that just...
Gotta be careful.
The thing that I was reading in the comments, and somebody was like,
You gotta be careful, but if you put it in too many places, then people can steal people steal the music and then re-release it.
Oh, I'm sure nobody
Information
uses
security.
whatever
It's important.
those things are anymore.
in the comments, somebody was saying how they're like, is this what we're going to expect from Rockstar from now on? Is they're just going to have Red Dead Online and GTA Online, and they're just going to start having like these online games, and every time a new piece of content comes out,
Start. I think that's been going on for a while.
Well, I think the idea is like, are we not going to see Red Dead Redemption 2 was a thing, but it's the last single player game that they've
you're not
made.
going to get 3.
Because like this is like
Are we not ever going to get any other games out of Rockstar that won't be just this? It'll be like we're bringing new content to the online stuff all the time, and
because this
like,
is effectively like a single player mission in Grand Theft Online.
yeah, which is an
Right.
MMO,
Right.
Yeah,
Sort of. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of continuous play and having the game that lasts forever instead of getting people to try to buy the new version is a pretty convincing model of making money for companies like this.
because if people keep their
You can just
subscriptions
keep
up,
making the expansions. Yeah.
you can always kind of program for the same thing. You don't have to be like, we're developing a new engine, we're developing a new this, we're doing all these other things, and I'm like, maybe that's what's going to happen. But I mean, also though, the fact that new content comes out for an online game is nice too. Whenever it's nice
not
to see that that's happening.
necessarily the worst thing, but it's also not a thing I have an interest in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Like as somebody who has, I mean, I played a fair amount of the GTA games. I haven't played GTA 5, but I quite enjoyed the original GTA games or GTA 3, San Andreas and all those ones. But the idea of or same with Red Dead, even I played that as well. But the idea of playing it online is very uninteresting to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially, I mean, it's like not online play is obviously has all sorts of problems with interacting with other people anyway. But on top of that, specifically we're talking Red Dead and GTA. You're specifically playing with a bunch of other people who are in this, like, they are portraying, like, lawless individuals.
Yeah.
Which is always the funny thing about, like, these games, is that it's like, or even the pirate one.
Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves, right? Where it's like, we want you to be, you're like a bad guy, and you're doing all this bad stuff, but don't actually do things that will, like, impact the, the enjoyment of the other players.
Yeah. You must live by a code.
Yes. Sea of Thieves, steal stuff, but not, stuff from other people.
Yeah.
And don't pirate the game itself.
Yeah.
Because that would be bad.
Yeah.
That's bad, but not good bad.
Be a fun cartoon villain.
Fun villain.
There haven't been a lot of these kind of things where a celebrity has just straight up said, "Hey, put me in the game, make me the center of a game that already exists." You know, it's
There's several celebrities who've shown up in GTA games.
Yeah.
Under extremely and in some cases sued because they showed up in a GTA game.
Yeah.
Under very
pseudonyms.
Very very small amount of coverage.
Yeah.
Pseudonym.
Like Laserbeak's Fury mentions, like The Rock in Fortnite. Well, that's a thing where it's like, is Dwayne The Rock Johnson the center of an entire set of missions that happens in Fortnite? And it's like, yeah, this is a thing of, we've taken a celebrity musician, we're weaving his story into this thing. He's creating a new thing to go with it as well. I'm like, that seems like a much deeper connection, and maybe not every celebrity can do a thing like that, right? Like in sports games, you can play, it's
right.
like you can play as a famous basketball player in an NBA game, of course, but you can't really live their life, right? All the career modes are about living your own life, and and
I feel like
I
guess GTA has got like the prestige at this point where I would not be surprised if Dr. Dre just legitimately plays GTA, like he just enjoys it as a game.
Yeah.
Reminds me of there was I'm sure we did it on CheckPoint a while ago that I think it was in GTA like 4 or 5 that Lindsay Lohan sued them because there was a character. It's one of these weird situations. There's a character in the thing who's like who's a like starlet who's completely out of control and like drunk driving and doing all this stuff, right? And so you have this odd situation where Lindsay Lohan is like, hey, that person you made in the game who is a completely terrible person and is drunk and horrible to everybody, that's me!
Yeah, that's my shtick. That's how I get famous.
And it clearly was a reference to the stuff that she was doing at the time.
Yeah, you gotta prove that, right?
But it's an odd thing to have to prove in a court of law that it's like, this terrible depiction is an accurate depiction of me. How dare you?
And people are like, well, what about Shaq Fu or Mike Tyson's Punch Out? I'm like,
they were paid for those, weren't they?
Well, I mean, this is more of like the aspect of this Dre thing seems like we've written a story, and and you're doing work for a celebrity in this. You're trying to help out this whole process, and I'm just like, man, it doesn't. Mike Tyson's Punch Out isn't about like eventually you fight Mike Tyson at the end, right? But it's not about like I am going to become friends with Mike Tyson. I'm going to train Mike Tyson how to be a fighter, and I'm going to do all these like it's not Princess Maker with Mike Tyson. Like it's not that kind of thing.
I mean, to be fair, I don't think you get to like teach Dr. Dre how to be a better rapper.
That would be funny as hell if you drop like a sick beat and he's like, "Oh, that's really good. I'm going to work that into my next song, and I'm going to pay you for it."
The new Parappa the Rappa.
Yeah.
With Dr. Dre.
Yeah. Oh man, I could go for that.
Also, yeah. To be honest, these days, Princess Maker with Mike Tyson might actually like.
He would do it.
Like, yeah,
right.
He's gotten into some pretty ridiculous stuff.
Yeah, I think he's up for like anything if it's fun.
Anyway, I think that's all of the news we want to talk about.
Great.
Yeah, nothing else important is happening until next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then next week, other things will happen.
So don't read Polygon and Kotaku until we tell you what to read on Polygon and Kotaku next week.
Do what you want. It's fine.
That's good advice. Do what you want. It's fine.
I mean, I wouldn't call that good advice out of context, but sure, why not?
Hey, what's happening tonight, Paul?
Tonight it is the Friday Night Paper Fight, where going to be playing some of that Canlander action.
Oh my goodness!
Real paper cards.
Yeah, we got a Surge, we got a Ben of the Wheeler variety, and a Ben of the Ulmer variety. We have both Bens.
Oh, Ben of Wheeler and Ben of Ulmer.
Yeah.
Ben Yeager and Ben.
And then we also have Ben Selhab, Nelson. We've got Surge, Nelson, couple of Bens, and it should be a lot of fun. There's some I've seen the deck lists. There's some spicy things going on.
I'm gonna need those for the VOD later.
Yeah. There's people are getting ready to play Canlander when they're like talking about it's like, hey, do you have like the new, I forget what it is, it's like the new this new card, and someone's like, no, I sorry, I don't have that. Oh, it's okay. Okay. Do you have a Mox Emerald? Oh yeah, sure, here.
Yeah. Which one do you want?
Yeah. And then on Sunday,
Wow.
it's a Cam. So nothing on Saturday.
Back again.
On Sunday, it's a Cameron and Ian Christmas, where Cameron and Ian are going to be there.
It just feels so weird that it's like the year has moved on, and the way that we mark the year, like it's like when Le Mans happens, it's like, oh, I know how long we are in the year then, and like Cameron and Ian Christmas, and it's like, I know how long we are in the year then, right? It's like
You combine the two.
Yeah.
This is also one of the VODs I prioritize is getting up right away because I'm like, no, everyone should be able to constantly replay this VOD on YouTube over and over again.
It's like the it's the fire.
It's the
right?
fireplace thing. Only Cam and Ian are also there.
The 24 hours of Ian driving and Cam just sitting there reading. Combine the two things together. So that's going to be happening on Sunday. So no Rhythm Cafe and no
Is this your card? Yeah.
And then on Monday, Play It Forward with Kathleen. Continuing on Shin Megami Tensei 5. Crossing the streams, going to be playing some Jackbox games on Monday evening. If you saw Graham's YouTube update from earlier in the week, talking about that Monday for at least the rest of the year is going to be our CTS day. We don't have any Dice Friends scheduled right now, so we're moving CTS to Monday so we can keep doing it while we're doing
AFK on Wednesday.
Stuff on Wednesday.
Which, by the way, if you haven't watched the YouTube update video, go to youtube.com/loadingreadyrun and watch it. And make sure you look out for the strange tree that everybody is commenting about. If nothing else, you need to see this tree. That is the only thing I've taken away from those comments.
It is a weird, wide tree.
Yes,
Long
it really is.
Tree.
So, go watch the video, see the tree, comment about the tree. Take in some other information about what we've told you.
It is a short, wide tree. All right. Let's
And if you didn't notice the tree, go rewatch the video.
let's thank the people who subscribed during the stream. Starting with Lady D Cat for 6 months. Thank you very much.
And Feistier Ermin for almost 60 months. Hang in there. You're at your 5 years real soon.
Agent Winter for 33 months. Welcome back.
Nerdmore with one gifted sub. Thank you very much for gifting that.
Laserbeak's Fury got this gift from Aitsu Hyaku.
Neat. Tree! Gifted by Demon Fire.
There we go.
Excellent.
That is a long tree. Which is an accurate portrayal of the tree in the video.
Pretty accurate.
It is a weird, low, long tree. I don't know. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. I'll be back in a little under an hour and a half for some Friday Night Paper Fight.